going into it, man, we got ourselves some pretty great games this weekend, everything like that in the NFL. Sorry about that. But we had some really good games in the NFL this weekend. And up first, let's talk about the Bolts, the Bolt Report, week 13. So pretty much the Chargers win an ugly game. Hats that was affected by bad weather, 6-0 at Pats. So pretty much they went to the Northeast and they went ahead and got the must needed win. It didn't matter how you won the game. We're not doing this isn't college where you have to do pageantry points and all that other stuff, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Quentin Johnston, dropped a big ball yesterday, but it was okay because that was taken care of later on in the game by another Charger, good veteran, who was able to get in a great catch there, and that was going to be Erickson. His only catch of the day actually put the Chargers ahead in this game. The Chargers, it's very obvious what the problem is with the Chargers offense right now. Mike Williams is a super mega piece to that group, and Keenan Allen is one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league, but he's really good when he has Mike Williams out there to be the deep threat, and then he can be the guy that is the underneath guy, the guy that busts his zones, the guy that does all the little stuff that helps your team get to where you need to get. But they just didn't have that yesterday. And, the lack of a running game really kills you in weather games like this. And yesterday, Austin Eckler was no good. He had 14 carries on 18 yards, and pretty much that's just – pretty much the writing's on the wall with this guy that he's pretty much cooked. And, Josh Kelly, he didn't get off as well as he's been getting off in some of these games, but he had 6 carries, 16 yards. That's a little bit better, but all in all, that was an awful effort from them as well, too, because, they lost 5 yards on Herbert yesterday as well, too, when he tried to do a quarterback run. And, this team it was just a really, really funny game yesterday. They gained 212 yards on passing and 29 yards running, right? And then they got outgained in the total yards, 257 to 241, but they shut out the Patriots. That's just what is kind of befuddling. But the Patriots did run the ball 32 times. Not many penalties in this game either. This game really just moved fast. It was a lot of punts. It was a lot of nothing going on. The Chargers were able to get some field goals in at points of the game, and they were able to win this game. It's that simple. This was an old school 1950, 1960 game. Second quarter, that was probably the best quarter for the Chargers, and you have to give the Patriots their props. They're 2-10, but they made the proper adjustments against one of the better offenses in the NFL and absolutely grounded them. So, you know what? At the end of the day, it was a great effort from the from the Patriots, but it wasn't good enough. But it shows exactly where the Chargers are at this point. This team is not a playoff team. I've said every week, hey, this is one of the better teams in the league. This is the best team with this record. Blah 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 blah. But yesterday showed me that Justin Herbert needs help. He needs a lot of help. And you know what? Keenan Allen is great, but he needs a safety valve tight end. Every good quarterback in the league has a great tight end except for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has a guy who's 6'8", that's really just a goal line guy. And then he has 2 other guys that seem to be pretty good, but they just aren't good enough to get on the field. So, it's just a lot of things that they need to balance out as a team moving forward. So, it's a lot of pressure on this Chargers team moving in the next few weeks. Now they're playing against a Broncos team that actually is now a playoff contender, and they are ahead of them in the standings. So this game is their biggest game of the season. This is a can't-lose situation. If they do lose to the Broncos next Sunday, they will be out the playoffs pretty much. They won't be out, but they'll technically be really out of the race at this point, because once you get to this point of the season, you have to have at least 7 or 8 wins if you're pushing towards that playoff berth, because these last 5 games are going to be tough on everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody knows exactly what their team's capable of doing and what their team's not capable of doing. So at this point of the season, the Chargers know that right now they got a sheet out to even think about a playoff situation. And with the way the schedule's set up, they're not going to sheet out. So pretty much with that, I will say this. I think yesterday proved to us that the Chargers are a great middling team. and they need to make the proper adjustments to this team, and they'll do it in the offseason. But this team making the playoffs right now, just get that out your head. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic at hand, and it's going to be this. It's going to be the Lions get out to fast start and then have to hold off the Saints, winning